Hey everybody, I want to give you a quick welcome to Math 1127 online. I'm Erin Cook, I'm your instructor. I'm going to walk you through some of the expectations and try to point out a couple of really useful things in your course. So first thing you guys will end up doing is going to mymathlab.com, and from here you're going to go ahead and register. So over on the right hand side where you see register now, you're going to click on student, and you're going to see email, course ID, and access code or credit card. For your email, use your student email. For the course ID, that's going to be in that welcome letter that I sent you. It's going to be my last name, Cook, with some numbers after it. And as far as the access code of the credit card, you do have to have a purchased access to MyMathLab. You can purchase that at the bookstore, you can purchase it online, when I say online, I mean straight through this website or from some other vendor. But you're going to need a MyStatLab code, and that's the only required information material kind of thing. You don't have to purchase a book. If you're unable to purchase a code right now, you can use temporary access for 2 weeks. As you're going through the registration process, whenever it's asking you for the access code or your credit card information, if you look down at the bottom, you'll see a quick little link that will let you use temporary access. But once it expires, if you have to use the temporary access, you will have to pay for it at that point, and you cannot create another login. So make sure you're using the same login information after your temporary access expires. Otherwise, your accounts are not linked, and the grades from one account don't go over to the other. So it'd be like starting fresh. Alright, so after you get registered, you're going to come to mymathlab.com, and you're going to sign in. And once you get signed in, you're going to see some courses, or maybe just one course. You'll click on your Math 1127 course. And I'm going to walk you through some of the different buttons you're going to have over here. I do want to mention anything you see over here with a little person and a line through it means that you guys cannot see it. It's just stuff that's in my view. So your course home, you're going to have a weekly calendar up here. Also, it's going to tell you upcoming assignments, the next couple of upcoming assignments, and whenever the next thing is due. So you've got a little countdown clock, a calendar here, and a list here. Also, you can click on View All Assignments, and this is going to give you a list of all of the assignments you're going to have due. On the left-hand side, you're going to have the date and the time, and we see this little green flag. This little green flag means that there's a prerequisite. So you will have to get a 100 on the online class agreement before you can do anything else. Completing that online class agreement will count as completing something for no-shows. So if you complete that, then you're for sure not going to be a no-show. Alright, so back to the course home. Again, if you want to scroll through by calendar, you can page through. If there's something due, you're going to see these little icons. So here's some homework that's due. Here's a test that's due. Alright, so and again, the announcements are right here. So you'll have announcements just underneath, and then if you click on the View All Announcements, that'll give you everything else. Let's look at the Getting Started and Instructor Info. So there's a couple things you're going to need to do that are going to be graded. The first thing you're going to want to do is to sign up for the Remind text and or email reminders. So this is the text reminder sign up. You click right over here on the left hand side. That text reminder sign up, it's just a PDF, and it's giving you directions on how to sign up for texts and or emails. If you have an unlimited text plan, I do suggest signing up by text. I send 1 to 2 out a week, typically 1, and I use this to get a hold of you guys if there's any important changes that are last minute. So it is very useful, and it's a grade, so make sure you do that. So that's the first thing you're going to be graded on. Also, you're going to need to go into the discussions and introduce yourself. This is 1% of your overall grade, so make sure you do it. So your discussion, if you look over here on the left, you're going to see discussions. And you all will not see all of these, but you will see this first one. And here it's just asking you to go through, write a little bit about yourself. You'll click on Respond, and that's going to open up a text window so that you can actually go in and put your name and introduce yourself. To get to other discussions, you'll actually click on the next discussion. So again, you'll be able to click on the discussions and go through. You won't see all of these at first. They will open up as the dates that are mentioned. All right, and then you also need to complete the online agreement. That was what I was showing you guys in the assignments. Another way to get to your assignments, if you go over here and look at your homework. So homework is going to show you all of your homework sections, but if you want to have everything in order, just click on Show All. So Show All, oh, and let me do View All on one page. So Show All is going to have you all of your homework and tests in order. So you'd be able to go through and kind of get a plan or an idea of how the course is going to look. All right, and then also you need to complete the sections 1.1 and 1.2 test. So this is basically a reading test. It's just to get you going, make sure you get those couple of sections down. And this is going to be the basis of what we're going to use throughout our stats course. So it's a lot of definitions to where if you don't understand those definitions, then continuing forward, it's going to be very difficult to learn the material easily. So these are the graded things. The things that I also suggest doing is to watch the video about online courses. This was also included in your welcome letter. And this is just basically deciding if online course is correct for you. Another one is to watch the Getting Started video, which obviously you're doing right now. And then to be familiar with the pacing guide. So your pacing guide over here, the course schedule, this has got incredible amounts of very useful information. So I try to put a calendar in as well, all your due dates for your discussion, your tests, and your homework. The exam, so there's only one exam, it's going to be your final, that's on campus, it's 35%. So make sure you keep that day marked out. And I also have really important notes over here, so all tests are closed note, closed book, and closed resource. So even though you guys are taking these tests at home, it is expected that you will be taking them the same way you would as if you were on campus. The finals on campus and 35% of your grade. Make sure you're going to plan ahead and work ahead throughout this course. So I don't reopen any assignments for individuals regardless of the circumstance. So hopefully you guys will plan ahead, work ahead. This is a really important policy right here. So the lowest unit test will be replaced by the final exam grade if the final exam score is no more than 19 points below the Unit 5 test score. So all of these tests are going to be cumulative. That's why they're worth an increasing amount as you go through the semester. There's going to be more and more material on them. So the Unit 5 test and the final are going to be quite similar. So if indeed all of your tests have been taken in a closed note, closed book, closed resource kind of way, then you should have a very similar score on your Unit 5 test and your final. If your final score is 20 points or more below the Unit 5 score, then your final exam score will replace the Unit 5 score. So this can be a big grade changer, either direction. So if you're able to get your lowest unit test replaced with your final and pull something up, then that's going to help you out in a really positive way. So this is especially useful for people that happen to miss a test. However, if you score much lower on your final than on your Unit 5 test, then once that's replaced, that's 14% more of your grade, that can really pull things down. So just be very aware of that. I also want to let you guys know that I can meet with you in a virtual office by appointment. And if you email me, we'll set up an appointment and basically meet in a Blackboard Collaborate classroom. So I'll have a whiteboard and be able to talk with you guys there. There is tutoring available on campus Monday through Friday. If you look in your welcome email, I'm going to have information there and a link there to the Learning Success Center. And that's going to be room 910 in the 100 building. I also want to make a note that discussion counts for 5% of your final grade. Late discussions are not graded. And then again, this is just going over the things that are due the first week of class. Alright, so that's looking at our pacing guide. So also get familiar with your calculator. So I know that we have that it's required that you have a TI graphing calculator. However, you do have the option to not purchase it, but the other options will not be as supported. So Casio FX115ES will work for this course. There are going to be several things that are a little bit slower and take you a little bit longer with it, but it will do it. There are a couple of videos in the live binder to help with that. Also, you guys have access to Excel as well as StatCrunch. So you'll see StatCrunch here, and then also as you're going through the homework, you'll see StatCrunch, where you can just basically export the data sets into StatCrunch and have it do its magic. The one thing to be aware of is that your final is on campus, and that if MyMathLab is down for some reason and we need to use paper tests, then StatCrunch may not be available. So if you're incredibly dependent on StatCrunch, I would suggest having a backup plan with the calculator or Excel. Also, please make sure you get familiar with all the buttons. So I know there's a whole lot going on over here in our course. And like I said, I will walk you through a few more of these, but do get familiar with those. And there's a LiveBinder link. So I've got a link here to that as well as right here. So this LiveBinder link I've gone through and I have tried to organize notes and videos. So if you click on Unit 1, this is going to be notes and videos for most of Unit 1. There will be a couple that are missing, and if that's the case and you need something, let me know, and I will work on creating that resource for you. There's no midterm anymore, so that's good. And I did want to mention that any of the unit reviews typically are going to be for just that unit, even though the units are now cumulative, the actual paper reviews. So for here, if we went through and looked at our midterm review with solutions, this is going to be the review, this one, with everything worked out. And this would be cumulative for Unit 1 and 2, so actually this is now a great review for Unit 2. Unit 3, Unit 4, and Unit 5, those reviews on just those units, even though these tests will be cumulative. There's also a final review, and again, this final review will cover 3, 4, and 5, but your actual final will cover Units 1 through 5. So there's those resources there to help you. And again, notes and videos. So for instance, for Section 1.1, these are going to be your blank notes, so you can scroll through and see those. So if you were to take a face-to-face course, these are the notes that you would have access to. There'll be the completed notes, so same idea, but with the answers, and then a video, so that if you were in the actual course in a face-to-face setting, this would be the video that would go along with it. So you just click here and go forward, or the video will actually populate. So there you go. So you can watch the video in this. All right, so that's all of our getting started things. I do want to emphasize, if you have any questions, definitely get in touch with me. Email is going to be the fastest and best way to get a response. And if you email me through Angel, I will respond to your student email. So make sure you're checking your student email often. All right, so let's look at some more buttons on the left-hand side. So we talked about the LiveBinder link and all of those resources, the text reminder sign up, the course schedule. The syllabus is here. This is going to run over the topics that we have, the textbook that we're using, materials, attendance policy. It's expected that you're going to log in 3 to 4 times a week. And if you do not log in for 3 weeks, you will be withdrawn from the course. Going through tests and quizzes and how things are split out. Discussions, 5%. That means that every discussion post is worth 1% of your final overall average. Homework and quizzes are worth 15%. Actually, only your homework's graded. Your reviews are quizzes, and those reviews do not count towards your grade. They're just there to help you study. The tests are 45% total, and your final exam is 35%. This is going to go more through the academic policy, work ethics, makeup tests. So there's no makeup tests. If you miss something, you will get a 0. With the hope being that your final exam will replace that 0. This final exam policy is going to go through everything here, and we even have a nice little diagram to help you with it. The Life Balance Program, this is a counseling program that is available to all Gwinnett Tech students. So if you have something you'd like to talk to a counselor about, here you go. And for disability services, so if you have a disability or have inquiries about any non-discrimination policies, or resources available, please get a hold of Lisa Richardson, and here's her contact information. All right, we talked about your homework link as well as your quizzes and tests. The only difference between these two is that the homework highlights the homework, quizzes and tests, just your quizzes and tests. Again, you can click on Show All. We already talked about your discussions. Your study plan, so this is not required. This is a way to get some extra practice. After a while, this will start to learn you and will make recommendations on what it thinks you should work on. In the beginning, it doesn't really know what you need to study. But after you've been doing some homework and doing some quizzes and tests, it will start to make suggestions that are useful. And if you don't want to go with these suggestions and you have a particular section you want to look at, just click on View All Chapters. And at that point, you can go through and pick the chapter and the section that you're interested in working on. So this will be all of the questions for that section, so for that topic. So here you go. And again, study plan is optional. Your grade book is going to have all your grades in it. So as you go through and complete things, you can check here. StatCrunch, as I mentioned, you will end up working. You can work with this if you choose to. The reason you don't have to purchase a book is because of right here, these chapter contents. So this is your entire ebook. So if I want to look at chapter 1.1, so I'm going to have the video option, the multimedia e-text, and then I can work in the study plan. The multimedia e-text, that's going to be what you're after. It's going to open up in a new window. And once it opens up, you can go through and read your book. Also, this little link here is going to actually open up to a section video, as well as there are other little things that you can click on. You're going to navigate your pages up here. So again, and you can print. So if you're worried about not having a paper book and you feel like a paper book is going to help you, well, obviously you're more than welcome to buy it. But if you think you're only going to need a few pages of the paper book, then I suggest using your ebook and just printing what you need. So here, for example, too, see this little guy right here, and it's going to give you an option to try it. Your print option is going to be up here at the very top, and you can print several pages at once. So here's the same print one page, run with the current page, and you can go up to 10 pages. Alright, so there's your ebook. I also want to point out, back in the chapter contents, you guys have a student solution manual that I made available for you. So the student's solution manual is going to have answers to the odd problems. So for instance, if you're going into probability, so here's the odd problems with the answers and some of the explanations. So hopefully you guys will find that useful. If you all need tables, you're going to look in the appendix. You can find them there. So random number table we won't really need. Critical values for a correlation coefficient, binomial probability distribution, standard normal distribution, cumulative binomial probability distribution. So all of these would be useful. We're not going to use the F distribution, but you can get to these tables here. However, I would suggest learning how to get most of these numbers from technology, so from your calculator. Alright, so we've made it through the chapter contents. Tools for Success. This is a hugely important button if you're using a TI. So if you go to Tools for Success and scroll to the very bottom, you'll see Graphing Calculator Tutorial for Stats. If you click here, again, it's going to open in a new window. This is going to walk you through everything that almost everything you need to know about your TI. For instance, if you want to look at correlation and regression, so that'll be something that we're dealing with at the very last unit. It's going to walk you through, and literally you can go through and click on the buttons, and it'll walk you through how your screen will look, and there are written instructions over on the right-hand side. So super, super useful, and if you need to get to another topic, just click Home. Also, the multimedia library. So in addition to the videos that I've created in your LiveBinder link, you guys have a multimedia library. This is going to give you options or give you a way to get to all the resources that the publisher has created. So if I'm looking for something about probability, and maybe I'm having trouble with the addition rule, so section 5.2, if I click Select All, I'm going to see each of the things that they have available. The multimedia textbook is going to be the same textbook that we've been talking about. This video lecture is going to go over, it's going to be a video going over the entire section. Also, these Authored in the Classroom, these are great videos. They're going to walk you through a couple of examples and cover some of the main ideas. And I think they're very useful. This is the actual author of your book in one of his classrooms. All right, so that's the gist of it. If you guys have any questions, please email me. And again, the email is just ecooke, ECOOKE, @gwinnettech.edu. And I'm looking forward to a great term with you guys. All right.